Am I the asshole for telling my wife she will respect our daughter not wanting her to meet her girlfriend because she made it this way? So I have a 16-year-old daughter. Harley, my wife, is extremely religious and is very against anything other than what is written in the Bible. I am still religious, but once Harley arrived, it got me thinking that what if my daughter does something that doesn't fit into my beliefs? My wife, however, is the exact opposite of me. Now the conflict. About a year ago my daughter said that she likes girls. She told me first and then we sat my wife down and told her the news. She was not happy with it. My wife didn't say anything to her and just looked disappointed. I was upset at this. As long as her partners aren't hurting her in any way, it's not our place to shame her for that. I told my wife that she cannot try to tear our daughter down because she doesn't agree, and she is going to have to make a sacrifice for the sake of our daughter and her well-being and to please make her feel supported. Turns out my wife was going to my daughter and showing her all of these different dating apps of only men, trying to set her up with guys, recommended her to date one of her friend's sons, and forced her to go out with him. She ended up telling my daughter that she was not normal from this and she needs to go to confession, because this is a phase. This went on for months and I had no idea. She would stop when I was around. My daughter ended up breaking down when I asked her what was going on and told me everything. To say I was angry would be an understatement. I am furious at my wife. Honestly, what she did was so outdated and cruel, to the point that I was not sleeping with her and I was sleeping in the guest bedroom for a while. I couldn't even look at her. We went to marriage counseling after this, and my wife hasn't changed much. She still lets these comments slip, but bites her tongue more, I guess. My daughter got a girlfriend, and she wanted me to meet her. She sat down with both of us and said that she only wanted me to go, and that she didn't trust my wife enough to not make a comment at this. As I was getting ready, my wife was mad about this, saying that she couldn't believe she could exclude her from this. I said she shouldn't be. She's made our daughter feel this way, and the only way to fix it is to get over her ridiculous homophobia. I told her that she's letting her religion get in the way of the love for her daughter, and in a few more years she'll be asking why she doesn't talk to her anymore. I said until she can show our daughter how much we love and support her, she won't interfere with this. This is a step forward for our daughter, and she doesn't get to stomp on that. My wife started crying and stopped speaking to me. She told our therapist this and he thinks I was wrong because this is what she grew up on, but I think that's just an excuse for homophobia. My family is also saying I'm an asshole, so am I? INFO. Is your therapist an actual therapist or just some dude in a church basement? Edit for the bot, not the asshole. Seriously, maybe a priest? Yeah, really. Get a real therapist. Not the asshole. Not the asshole *, get a new therapist, because the one you have got their license on the back of a pizza box. We already see that I don't feel like I'm the asshole. However, to make it fair, I'll tell you what my wife says. So to my respond to that, my wife was saying that she felt like I wasn't understanding to her religious beliefs and that this is hard news for her to accept, but she's still trying here. She says that she has always believed in God, so I can't just expect her to breach all of her beliefs with this and expect her not to try to fix it. I'm gonna be honest, I am not sympathetic to this at all, especially because it's been a year, and this is honestly just heartbreaking to watch a parent not be accepting to their kid. But that's no secret. But I guess asshole on here always seem to actually be assholes when they think that they're not assholes. So I'm just seeing if I really am wrong here. I am also Christian. Jesus never said anything about homosexuality, and preached a message of love and forgiveness. Even if homosexuality was a sin, highly doubt it, pretty sure he'd have said something. Jesus spent much of his ministry forgiving sinners and showing them love and respect. He was, however, heavily critical of those who twisted religion to suit their own agenda, and was sent to his death by those same religious hypocrites. He would not want anyone to hate in his name. Hateful Christian is an oxymoron, gay Christian is not. I started to realize I was not straight around 13 to 14-ish. Around this time my church, LDS, Mormon, had made some handy little booklets to give all the young women and young men to help guide them on their path to being healthy, productive adults in the church. There was a section on homosexuality. It was very not helpful to someone starting to realize they were no straight, but already knew that it wasn't something you prayed away, could fix or really ignore. What did I do? I read the Bible and the stuff just for the church, Book of Mormon and doctrine and convenience. To be honest, I was a very dark, depressed and, well, let's keep this a bit more PG and just stop there, and I expected to just find hatred and rejection on these books. What did I find? Nothing. Like seriously. Anything close to a talking about homosexuality in the Bible or the Book of Mormon was so on par with the not eating shrimp thing. It just felt like it was something that was there, Some people didn't really understand, but that was okay because you don't understand everything. Even the parts that most people point to, revelations? Feels like one man's experience faced with something he didn't understand and wholeheartedly rejected, not really like the rest of it. The doctrine and convenience though. Yesh. You know what I did learn? God created all life in His image, not in the image of perfection, structure and obedience but the image of imperfection, love and difference, that He made everything to be different and similar and to give us lives where we can find Him and know Him better. He sent His Son to show us that love is not a matter of blood or station but for those who care for you, who look to you and who need you. His Son was raised by a man who was not His by blood but loved and brought Him into the world and raised Him because He was deserving of it. He went out and treated all people like they were deserving of it too. Because God? God loves you just because you woke up in the morning, smiled because you saw a butterfly outside, because you said hello to your neighbor, because you cried over a book or a movie or a song. God loves you because you are you. Anyone who thinks otherwise doesn't know what they are talking about. Edit. Fixed some anger typos. This is so lovely. Thank you for writing it. I was raised Catholic, so I grew up believing that divorce was bad. When I wanted to leave my abusive marriage, I was racked with guilt. Until I talked about it with my mother and she told me that God loves me and wants me to be happy. He doesn't want me to keep a promise that will ruin the rest of my life. And suddenly, it seemed so obvious. Not the asshole. Looks like your wife, and her pastor, I'm assuming that's who the therapist is, because a real one worth their salt wouldn't be encouraging your wife like that. Have forgotten that Jesus hung out with sinners, and as far as we know, accepted each one as they were. We know that because they kept inviting the dude to come stay with them and have a meal. What would Jesus really do? Same as you, love and support the kid. What would Jesus really do? Same as you, love and support the kid. This cannot be emphasized enough. He thinks I was wrong because this is what she grew up on, but I think that's just an excuse for homophobia. I was born into a Mormon family and I was homophobic and transphobic. I gradually changed my views while still Mormon, but ultimately left the religion 10 years ago. Just because you grew up on something doesn't mean shit. Not the asshole. I have to ask you though, why are you still married to her if she treats your daughter this way? Fellow Exmo. I was actively being told that women are incubators and gay people burn in hell and I still figured out that was wrong at, like, 12. If a grown-ass woman can't figure out what a 12-yo can, that's her problem. Why not ex-wife? And why not ex-therapist? Why not both? Not the asshole. Is the therapist also religious? You need to find a new one outside of religion to provide a non-biased point of view. Good on you for supporting your daughter. I'm not sure if he is or isn't, I mean it seems like it, but how do you find out something like that? Google the therapist. Look up their name plus therapist on Google. If they're accredited, they should show up on multiple websites, for example the website Psychology Today. Look for phrases like, faith-based counseling, and check for actual credentials that can be researched in that source a college or other educational program. If you're not sure about the source of the credentials, Google the source as well to make sure it's not a shady church. Honestly, I'm getting the vibe that this therapist is a church therapist, which usually means not an actual therapist. They get around this by calling themselves religious counselors, or whatever. If your therapist doesn't pass this Google check, insist that you and your wife get a new one that is actually accredited. Everyone sucks here, except daughter. You can be married to a homophobic witch, or you can have a gay daughter. You cannot have both. Signed, someone who avoids the fuck out of their family because you get people like your wife giving me shit, then people like you who are too scared to actually do something about the person in front of you being abused. Everyone clapping him on the back while going to the therapist, he hasn't even damn well Googled, shrugging off putting a minor child on online dating, which is illegal and abhorrent even if cishet, and inviting corrective or conversion saw in this case, and just sleeping in the guest room instead of standing up to his wife's abuse of his gay teenage daughter is boiling my piss. The bar is so low in the straights again and again enable the most minimal attempts at decency toward LGBTQ+ people. This guy is ignoring massive details like WHO, his own therapist as, or the potential federal sex trafficking offense his wife committed. So what do we think he's noticing in how his wife treats Harley day to day? I was raised by homophobes and abusive parents, and if they act abusively to an audience, there is absolutely no way they don't do more abusive stuff in privacy. If abusers have crossed that line, then optimism is just enabling. When one parent hates your existence, a child will still seek approval from the parent who ignores the behavior of the crueler parent because a slap in the face feels better than a punch to the face until you have the context neither is kind or caring or correct. A 16-year-old brought up knowing she was gay with a deeply religious mother does not have a whole rainbow of context, so she's taking scraps because no one has ever flown a flag for her. Original poster is coasting off being better than his truly asshole wife not actually doing shit. Passive not active parenting and being a good person. Not the asshole and the homophobia is bad enough, but what a fuck is this? Showing her all of these different dating apps of only men. Maybe I'm out of touch, but are there dating apps for school kids these days? Question mark. I didn't know that was a thing, or legal, either, but that was dangerous and ridiculously strange. Yeah, that's cause it's not a thing. There's no dating apps like that. You should probably ask your daughter what apps your wife was making her use. Not the asshole. Thank you for supporting your daughter. She needed the support and you gave it to her. Thank you for being a good parent. Your wife is in denial or processing. Please talk to her and make sure she doesn't serve as a real harm to your daughter. Thank you. Wow, you need a new therapist. I have been in therapy several times in my life and none of my therapists would condone your wife's behavior. You are a wonderful father to accept your daughter for who she is and to stand up to your wife for her. My daddy was 93 when he died 2 years ago and my brother and I are left with the memories of having the very best father. I'm confident your daughter will feel the same about you. ETA. I forgot the judgment, not the asshole, but of course your wife is. Not the asshole. Glad your daughter has you. Maybe it's time for another sin in the family, divorce. Not the asshole. I'm so sick of hearing, well, that's how I was raised, as an excuse for bigotry. Keep supporting your daughter and get ready for her to cut your wife out of her life. Not the asshole. Your wife only wants to live by what's in the Bible, huh? Well, the second she spoke against what you wished, she was already going against what the Bible tells women to do, which is be subservient to their husbands and their wishes. It's curious how she only is willing to listen to what the Bible says when it comes to what she wants in the situation. I don't know that I would recommend pointing out this fact to her, because our society very obviously doesn't treat every word of the Bible as true in that regard and it would be pretty petty, but she seems to be completely unwilling to listen to reason or even make an attempt to do the actual most important thing the Bible is supposed to teach Christians. To love those around you who are different from you regardless of whether that difference is not one of the tenets of the religion itself. Going by the very words written in her religious book, she will not be looked at fondly by her deity for the way she's treating your daughter. A reminder on this one might actually be helpful, but it could backfire and make her angrier. Not the asshole. You are doing the right thing. Good on you. Also, the therapist is also an asshole. He is saying it is okay to hate on your daughter because of your wife's upbringing? How much do you want to bet the therapist is a religious counselor? My first thought as well.